Hello fellow Movie Crusaders, and welcome to another episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name is Sean Wasserkrug, and today we are going to be reviewing the latest comedy with Dave Bautista and Kumail Nanjiani, Stuber. Now, with this movie, I remember when I first saw the first trailer, I actually thought this actually looked quite funny. I like both these guys and their other roles that they've done, with Kumail, being in, he was in Men in Black International. He's probably the best part of Men in Black International earlier this summer. And then, of course, Silicon Valley, and The Big Sick was one of my favorite movies of the year that it came out. I'm blanking, I think it was like 2016, 2017. And then, of course, Dave Bautista. I mean, me being a lifelong pro wrestler fan and actual pro wrestler, I really like Dave Bautista as an actor. Of course, he's Drax, and he's done great things in Spectre, even though the movie wasn't that great. I thought he was fine in it, and of course, Blade Runner 2049. So when the first trailer came out of this, I actually thought it was quite funny, and it was an enjoyable experience all throughout. So let's see what the movie was, and let's see if I gave it a good review or a bad review. So the general plot of Stuber is you've got Vic Manning, played by Dave Bautista, who 2 years prior to the events of the film lost his partner in a shootout with a drug dealer. And so he's been kind of on the hunt for this murderer ever since, and has kind of put a kind of a divot in his life, whether it be his career, his family, his relationship with his daughter. All he's done is focused on finding this guy who killed his partner. Till he finally gets sent home, basically to go get an eye exam, because he's getting a LASIK, because one of the main problems when he lost his partner is that he lost his glasses, and he constantly had problems doing his job. But basically that's what's going on with him at the start of the film. And then of course we got Stu, played by Kumail Nanjiani, and he is basically just your average typical guy. He's kind of a pushover. He kind of lets everyone walk all over him, whether it be his boss, who's a complete total tool, or the girl he's in love with, who basically makes him, kind of uses her pretty eyes to basically get him to sign a lease to a business that he probably doesn't really think is going to work. But he's just a guy who just wants to make everyone happy, and especially the girl played by Betty Gilpin. Her name's Becca. And so he drives Uber to make more money so that way he can kind of do that, or kind of help her succeed in her lifetime dream. Then, of course, he has the typical Uber driver experiences, crappy customers giving him low ratings, even though he's trying his best to be the best he can be. And then he gets Vic Manning. Because Vic can't see anything, he's supposed to be going to his daughter, played by Natalie Morales. She's Nicole. Her name's Nicole. She has a big art gallery thing happening, and Vic promised he would go. Because he can't drive because of his vision, she sets him up with an Uber. But at that same exact time, he finds out intel that might bring him to the man who killed his partner 2 years prior. So he basically forces Stu to go on this wild goose chase, much to Stu's pleads to stop. And that's the general plot of this film, and I know I explained a lot, but that's all pretty much in the trailer. But yeah, so that's the plot. What works in Stuber? Kumail Nanjiani and Bautista do have a great comedic chemistry with one another. They do have a good back and forth, and I think they actually are quite funny together. They both put on solid performances in the film, and the comedy, when it's good, it's pretty funny. The action is actually really solid throughout, whether it's the hand-to-hand fighting or the gunplay. It's solid, and it is kind of a lot of shaky cam and a lot of disorientation, but I actually like that, because that's what a fight really is. It's not super clean cut. So that might rub some people the wrong way, but I actually personally liked that aspect. But yeah, it was the action was solid, and the comedy overall, when it works, was solid between the chemistry of Kumail and Dave Bautista. And Natalie Morales, I thought she was solid as Nicole. I mean, she's not really given a whole lot to do in the movie, but in the scenes that she was in, she did a pretty solid job. And Iko, I know I'm going to say his name wrong, is Ako Uwas. He plays Oka Trejo. He's the drug dealer that Vic is hunting in the film. When he's in the movie, actually really solid villain, especially the fight scenes, because I mean this is the guy from The Raid, so I mean he knows how to do fight choreography. When he's on screen, he's actually a pretty solid character throughout, or at least he's an enjoyable visual throughout the movie. Quick little co-star, because I know a lot of people aren't going to say much. Steve Howey. Yeah, Steve Howey. He plays Felix in the movie. Loved his part. I know he's probably not going to get recognized for it because it's such a small part, but he is probably one of my favorite parts of the movie when he's in it. I wish he would have been in it more. And Karen Gillan, she's got a small part in it in the beginning. She plays the partner of Vic in the beginning. Obviously, I already spoiled what happens to her, but I liked her in it, and I like that she's getting out there more outside of just being Nebula. But yeah, that's what works. What does not work is pretty much everything else. The comedy, like I said, when it works, it's good. When it doesn't work, it's not good. And for most of the movie, it does not work. There is a police subplot that has no bearing on the story. You literally could remove this subplot out of the film, and it would be 100% the same movie. So what's the point of this plot? If you take it out, the movie will still go the exact same way as it did. I feel like they could have given that time to developing Akio Uwasa's character better, Tejo. I think that if they would have given his character more screen time, maybe some development of his character, I feel like his villain would have been a hell of a lot stronger. But instead, we're given this subplot between the police, which I can't really say without being spoilery, and this other storyline between Stu and Becca, which I get that's the driving force for Stu in the film, but after a while it just kind of starts becoming annoying. But yeah, it's just there's unnecessary subplots in the film. But the main problem with Stuber is that Stu and Vic are both really kind of unlikable characters. You watch the movie, you get through the movie, you enjoy the movie because you like Kumail Nanjiani and Dave Bautista, not because you like Stu and Vic Manning. Vic Manning is just a complete and utter ass. He's a horrible cop, he's a horrible father, and he treats Stu horribly, and there should be no reason why him and Stu should get along throughout this entire film. And Stu is the worst kind of guy when it comes to being a pushover, and he's just whiny, and that clingy guy who tries way too hard. Which can be nice to some, but can just be borderline get the hell away from me kind of thing. And it's just both those characters throughout the movie are just not likable, and they're forced on you because of the leads in the movie, and you like them because of who plays them, not because of how they're written. They're both very poorly written characters. Like I said, I prefer Steve Howey's Felix, Karen Gillan's Sarah, or Natalie Morales' Nicole. Or we could have gotten more of Mira Sorvino's, she's the I think she's the captain, Captain McHenry. I thought she was solid in her parts, even though they were irrelevant in the film. But yeah, that's the main problem with Stuber, is that, like, a lot of the funny parts are in the trailer. There might be one or two more actual laugh-out-loud moments in the film that weren't in the trailer. But yeah, it's just, you don't like these characters. There's no repercussions to Vic Manning and what he does. He's literally a video game cop where he can shoot and break every single law imaginable, but because he's a cop, he doesn't have to answer for it. And he's just a jackass the entire film, and not even a likable one to boot. So that's what's mostly wrong with this film. So overall, with Stuber, I mean, I didn't hate it, but I also didn't like it either. It was just kind of those, like, it was okay. Like, it's not something I'd watch again. It's not something I would recommend to you guys, unless you really want to see these two together, which is why I watched it in the first place. But I watched it and I was just kind of meh to the whole thing. So yeah, I can't recommend this movie for you guys. I think there are better movies out there right now for you guys to give your time to. So because of that, Stuber, not a recommendation for me, and it's also clearly not going to be in my top 10 of 2019 so far. So going to that list to keep you guys up to date, we've got Toy Story 4 at the number 1 spot, with Avengers Endgame at number 2, Rocket Man at number 3, Spider-Man Far From Home at number 4, Booksmart at number 5, Us at 6, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum at 7, Midsummer at 8, Disney's The Lion King at 9, Long Shot at 10, with Child's Play being right outside of the top 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I hope you guys felt like this review was helpful. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys feel like this review is worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to the channel so that way you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on YouTube. And don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Coming up next, I will be doing the review for Crawl, the Hurricane Alligator movie, so be on the lookout for that. And then we also, later tonight, we will also be having Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino film that I'm super, super jacked for. So be on the lookout for those, and then we will be having some more shows coming up here very soon with co-stars and guests. So leave your comments below on what you would like to see us do on the show, whether on here or any of the social media outlets you see below. And until next time, in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.